When I had my original channel, I did a series on there called The Weekly Review, where I took a look at all the titles that I watched throughout the week and I gave my quick thoughts on them. Well, I'm bringing it back. This is everything that I watched this week. I know it doesn't look like a lot, but one of these is a 7-movie set. So, basically, I watched 3 franchises this week. I did not intend on that happening, but that happened. Up first, I rechecked out Olympus Has Fallen and London Has Fallen. I'm going to talk about these kind of together. These are both really, really fun action movies. The first one is basically Die Hard in the White House. The second one is Die Hard in London. I actually kind of like to think about this one a little bit because if you read up on movies as much as I do, I recently revisited the Beverly Hills Cop trilogy a couple weeks ago, and I was reading that a rejected concept for one of the sequels was having Axel Foley go to London to be like a Scotland Yard detective, and they kept rejecting it. I like to think that maybe this might kind of have elements of that lost Beverly Hills Cop sequel script. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe I'm just being an idiot. But these are both really fun action movies. I revisited these, obviously, because the third movie came out last weekend, Angel Has Fallen, which was also really good. I did do a review of that. If you have not seen these movies, I'd recommend checking them out. If you find them for really cheap or come across them for really cheap, I say pick them up, Blu-ray, DVD, whatever. Not too much more to say, but these are both really, really fun. Then I decided to visit/revisit the Dr. Dolittle franchise. And the reason why I say visit/revisit is because I have seen the first 2 movies before, but it hasn't been for a while. And I had not yet seen the 3 direct-to-video sequels. So I figured, because I had been on an Eddie Murphy kick at the time that I did these, so I figured I would revisit these. So Dr. Dolittle, I had seen this one before. It had been a long, long time. This is a fun movie. Not really too much to say about this. You have Eddie Murphy, John Dolittle. He has this weird ability to talk to animals. The animals can talk to him. He hears their voices. I mean, that's really all there is. That's really kind of the main plot of the movie. He has to help this circus tiger overcome a lot of physical and emotional pain. Not really too much more else to say about that. If you are going to pick this movie up, though, and you're not a big fan of movies that are not cropped properly on your TV, then I would say try picking this up on Blu-ray, because this DVD is non-anamorphic widescreen. Anamorphic basically means that no matter what TV that you have, the screen will fill up automatically, no matter what. Because this is an earlier DVD, it doesn't do that, and it doesn't recognize that it's being played on an HD TV. So the whole time you're basically watching the movie in a little square on your TV with a whole bunch of black, like this big black ring around it. So if that bothers you, it didn't bother me too much. But if that bothers you, then don't get the DVD, get the Blu-ray. It didn't bother me too much. So Dr. Dolittle, it's a fun, decent movie. And the same goes for Dr. Dolittle 2. This is when the franchise started getting a lot more kid-friendly. Although if you listen to the soundtrack for this movie, which I do, I have the soundtrack. Soundtrack's very not kid-friendly. I don't understand why they did it like that, but it's also kind of a catchy soundtrack too. If you listen, one of the features on here is a music video for the song Cluck Cluck by the product G&B and Wyclef Jean. I can't stand Wyclef. I mean, that's kind of the closest it gets to being about Dr. Dolittle. But that's a really catchy song. There's also a song by Snoop Dogg, RL, and Lil' Kim on here called Do You Wanna Roll? Just kind of a catchy soundtrack, but if you hear those 2 songs, they'll be stuck in your head for a while. This one's all about Dr. Dolittle. He's called upon to help save this circus bear. The bear doesn't really have anything wrong with him, but the bear, you know, doesn't have a natural habitat, and he doesn't know how to survive out in the wild on his own. So wackiness ensues, hijinks ensues, yada yada. This is one of those DVDs where if you put it in before the main menu pops up, a menu pops up with right there with a clip from this raccoon guy, and it basically says, after he talks for a little bit, it says, "Do you want to go see the beaver?" The beaver in this movie is kind of like the Godfather character in the movie, and it's a yes or no option. If you click yes, then the clip goes away and the main menu pops up and you can watch the movie. If you say no, the raccoon will kind of make like a snide remark, and then the option pops up again. So I'm like, okay, well, why put this on? I don't know. It's really weird. But Dr. Dolittle 2, it's okay. It's an okay, decent sequel. It's pretty fun. Why this one isn't on Blu-ray, though, is kind of weird, because this made a huge amount of money. I guess because they put the first one on Blu-ray, and then they realized that if they put the second one on Blu-ray, that they might have to put the other ones on Blu-ray, and the other ones are not good. So, yeah, Dr. Dolittle 2, it's okay. And then the next three movies I'm going to talk about kind of together. They are Dr. Dolittle 3, Dr. Dolittle Tale to the Chief, and Dr. Dolittle $1 Million Mutts. These are all horrible. These are really, really awful, awful movies. Dr. Dolittle 3, it's Kyla Pratt back as Maya Dolittle. She's on a dude ranch. She doesn't like it. Whatever. It's horrible. Tale to the Chief. Oh, for whatever reason, the Secret Service contacts her because the president is having problems with her dog, or with his dog. Stupid. $1 Million Mutts. She goes to LA to be on this ridiculous reality TV show, and you know, wackiness ensues. Ha ha ha, whatever. These are horrible. I don't know what else to say about these. These are really, really awful. Even by direct-to-video movie standards, these are really, really bad. The features on here, the special features aren't really all that great. There's a feature on $1 Million Mutts. It's called Tiffany's Tricked Out Cell Phone. The actress who plays the character Tiffany in this movie, she has like, it's 2009, so cell phones were becoming more and more like 24/7 round the clock necessary. So she goes, oh, look at my super cool cell phone. All of the buttons do something different. And she holds it up, and you're supposed to click like the buttons are like mini featurettes on the phone. It's awful. It's ridiculous. So yay, Dr. Dolittle. I really only recommend the first two if you're going to watch any of them. Then this is the only title this week that I watched that wasn't part of a franchise, and that is 5 Feet Apart. This is my second time seeing this. I did see this in theaters. This is a really, really good movie. All about these two people with cystic fibrosis, CF or CFers as they call themselves, who kind of develop. That's one thing I really like about the movie. They don't really develop a romance per se. For most of the movie, it's just a really solid friendship. And they're getting really, really mad because they can't be more than 6 feet apart from each other. Otherwise, they'll catch bacteria and they could die. And it's all about the struggles and the connections formed between that. This is such a good movie. It's so sweet. Moises Arias is in the movie. He's right there. He plays Poe. He's really good in the movie. Cole Sprouse is really good in the movie. But really, this movie belongs to Haley Lou Richardson. Phenomenal actress. She's great. There is something in here. This comes in the Blu-ray for the movie. I don't know if it comes in the DVD or not. But just for people who don't have the movie, if you have friends or relatives that are affected by CF, it says, it came with this little slip. It says, watch the film, join the fight. This is part of the CFF, the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. If you want to know how you can help out, you can go to www.cff.org/5feetapart. Again, that's www.cff.org backslash 5 feet apart. If you want to know how to spell 5 feet apart, just look at the cover of the movie. So there you go. I think I did look on their website a little bit. They are pretty admirable. If you have not seen this, definitely check it out. The features on the back of the that are on the movie are really, really interesting too. I really do like how there's a featurette on here called An Artist's Eye. They talk about the artists that they consulted with to make the drawings for the movie that certain characters do. That was actually a really, really interesting featurette. I wish more movies would be as in-depth with their special features as Lionsgate is, because Lionsgate has some of the best home media releases out there. So 5 Feet Apart, if you haven't seen it, you're missing out. It's really, really good. And then the last thing I have to talk to you about is the Leprechaun franchise. Watched all 8 movies. I revisited the first 7 movies because I have seen these before. But really, really cool thing about this is that this was my first time watching them on Blu-ray. This set right here, this is called Leprechaun, the Complete Movie Collection. This was back when Origins came out in 2014. So it has the first 7 movies. You have Leprechaun, Leprechaun 2, Leprechaun 3, Leprechaun 4 in Space, Leprechaun in the Hood, Leprechaun Back to the Hood, and Leprechaun Origins, which at the time was the new film out. Great set, by the way. Just first of all, just for the fact that all of these are on Blu-ray, that's amazing. But they have a documentary split up into 6 parts called the Leprechaun Chronicles. Each movie has their own part. Each of the first 6 movies has their own part. I really wish they would have spliced that together and put that as its own documentary, because as its own documentary, it would be about 2.5 hours long. Those featurettes are phenomenal. They're about 20 to 30 minutes apiece, and they talk about the making of each movie. It's really, really awesome. And they have fun with it too. Like especially on the later movies, like 3, 4, and the In the Hood movies, they're like, we know it's kind of ridiculous and over the top, but we like doing movies like that because that gives us the chance to be silly and be out there. I like how they do that. And Warwick Davis is interviewed on all of the parts, and he's like, I love doing this, these roles. A lot of the audiences really do like seeing me as this character, and I'm grateful for that. These movies are really, really cheesy. The only downfall of this set, though, is that is some of the HD upconverting. The first 4 movies is not a problem. Those all look fantastic. It's the first time that a lot of them are in widescreen, are in their proper aspect ratios, which is great. The main issue that I have are with the In the Hood movies. They're very grainy looking. In all honesty, if you have the DVD copies of those movies, you're probably better off sticking with those. There really isn't a difference with those 2 movies. But the only way really to get them on Blu-ray is to get this set. These movies are fun. These movies are cheap. Well, the first 6 movies are anyway. Leprechaun Origins is pretty bad. I've seen that about twice now. I don't really care for that one too much. I don't think the writing is very good. I don't think the acting is very good. The Leprechaun is a different Leprechaun now. Not only a different actor. Instead of Warwick Davis, it's Hornswoggle, the wrestler Hornswoggle. He is the Leprechaun now, which, I mean, I don't have anything wrong with, but it's not the same Leprechaun. The Leprechaun doesn't talk. So, I don't know. I really don't like Leprechaun Origins. But the other 6 movies, they're really goofy. They're really out there. The first movie is actually, as you can see right there on the back, it's actually Jennifer Aniston's film debut, and she has gone on record stating that she does not like the movie.
Oh, what a load of crap!
So, Leprechaun, these movies are cheesy, great fun. And I obviously revisited those because it was time for me to watch Leprechaun Returns. This is the 8th Leprechaun movie. They basically went the Halloween route in the fact that with the new Halloween that just came out, They ignored all the continuity. They ignored Leprechaun 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and Origins. And this is a direct sequel to the first one, which I really like because, as you can see right there, Ozzy from the first movie comes back, which I thought was really cool. This was a fun movie. The guy who plays the Leprechaun, Lyndon Porco, he does a pretty good job. I guess Warwick Davis didn't want to come back to the Leprechaun franchise. I think he said like he had done enough with it. The guy they got, Lyndon Porco, he does a really good job at taking over for the role. This is a fun movie. They do make references to the first movie a lot. This is a sci-fi original movie, and it is very heavy on the violence. But this is a fun movie. This is really fun. I haven't checked out the features on it yet, but Leprechaun Returns, if you haven't seen it yet, you can get this for really cheap. It's like $9.99 everywhere I go. So if you haven't seen Leprechaun Returns yet, definitely give it a watch. It's a lot of fun. So that is it for this week's weekly review. Just to recap really quick. Olympus Has Fallen and London Has Fallen. Both are really, really good movies. Highly recommend those. Dr. Dolittle. It's a fun, cheesy movie. Same goes with Dr. Dolittle 2. Dr. Dolittle 3. Horrible. Dr. Dolittle 4. Terrible. Dr. Dolittle 5. Awful. 5 Feet Apart. Really, really good movie. Leprechaun 1 through 6. Really, really good. Origins, not so much. And Returns, really, really a lot of fun. I also, this week, traveled to the theaters and I saw Ready or Not, Angel Has Fallen, Overcomer, and The Peanut Butter Falcon. All of my reviews for those can be found separately. If you have seen any of the movies that I reviewed this week featured in this video, let me know down below and let me know your thoughts on them. So that's it. Have a nice weekend, and I'll see you all next time.